Hey, Annika, what if you feel crazy chemistry, but I'm trying to really lean into building a friendship?
Mm.
Ooh, good question. How would
I
you
mean,
answer
nothing
that?
wrong with that if you're feeling
Well,
crazy
yeah.
chemistry.
So I think it depends on coming back to intention. And I think it starts with knowing what your values are, knowing your must haves, your deal breakers, that sort of thing, and diving into those questions quickly. I mean, by the way, folks, we're in our 60s, so I'm just going to openly admit that, even though she looks like she's in her 30s. So I'm not robbing the cradle. I think we both knew we didn't want someone who's raising small children.
We did know that.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's a question to ask.
Okay,
but do you agree? We didn't need to go there because we knew the age of our children. But for some people, there are plenty of people in their 50s and 60s that have young children. And for I have a client of mine who said, that's a deal breaker for her. And I'm not saying that's everyone, but that's an example of know what your must-haves and your deal breakers are.
So I would ask the question, what is crazy chemistry to you, Annika, right?
Okay.
Because there's that, because maybe that means, you're having amazing conversation, but, for me, the building the friendship means, how does this person, like, I used to say this to you in the beginning, like, I like you.
Yeah.
I like you. Like, you're one of my people. Like, I like you. You're one of my tribe. And
you're so fucking cute. I think you're adorable.
But I thought that was really important. Like, that was my next intentional space that I wanted to bring into my life. For me, it was, I really wanted to like them.
Well, okay, I'm going to take this down a different road. Crazy chemistry. That to me is danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger, danger. In other words, if it's crazy chemistry, that means you have to be even more intentional about determining compatibility, because crazy chemistry can take the train down a track and you find out weeks, months later. You take the crazy. I. Is that it?
I think so.
I'll do a little Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah. Is that crazy chemistry without compatibility can be crazy train wreck.
True. So the question becomes, have you figured out what you're compatible with? Have you figured out what your real intention is? What his intention is?
By the way, we had an interesting conversation about intention the other day. And we talked about, for those, many people enter the dating marketplace with a short-term mating strategy. It's like, I want to have a good time. I want to feel something. I'm not really looking for anything serious, okay? A lot of people enter into the process with a short-term strategy and with the caveat, well, if I meet the right person, we'll see, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You and I had a long-term mating strategy in that we both were very clear we wanted life partners. And when you're clear you want a life partner, the box that looks like is a lot different than let's just see where it goes kind of thing. And
we used to joke, I used to say I didn't have enough data.
Yeah. Right? That's your. Yeah.
And I realized that, not enough data was me like getting ready to poke a hole in something in the relationship, right? And what was the other side of the not enough data? Feeling, I can't remember, but
shoot, that was something you'd always say to me.
I know. One is not enough data, and the other is feeling committed or all in.
Yeah. So there's
it's like two ends of the spectrum if you think about it. Like, if you're busy, trying to control the situation, be in control, like you want certain things and it's not quite the thing you want. So you're like, oh, I'm not so sure. You kind of like got that little guy on your shoulder poking holes in it going, okay, well, there's not this good thing, but there's that, and that, right? And instead of just saying, I am in for this friendship and or, relationship, and just going for it from that perspective. Yeah.
So, it's interesting. Paula brought up all in. When we had reached our 3-week point and we agreed we're going to explore a relationship, we weren't all in. I mean, in means,
No, we wanted to explore.
No, I get that. But I want to be clear about something. To me, all in means I'm going down with the ship here. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm kind of in it. If you get sick, I'm there for you. I'm going to take care of you. That's what all in means to me. And when we agreed to explore a relationship, I did it with that in mind too. Like, is this a person? I just read a meme on Facebook or Instagram that said, marry somebody that once you start a conversation, you can keep going until the day you die, kind of thing. It was a reference to that. And I knew with you, oh my God, you and I, we can start at 9 a.m. for coffee on Sunday, sit on the couch and talk nonstop with each other. And did you hear me say with each other? Not at each other. We talk with each other for 9 straight hours. We love going down different rabbit holes. Now, let me be clear. We take walks. We get out of the house. We're meeting friends for dinner. We're doing a retreat. We just flew out of town for a retreat. We do shit too. Okay. By the way, we need a date night soon. But we got one this weekend. Well, I want just mean you and I. So anyway, I want to take another question. Let's go here. Julianne, this may be a little off topic, but why do men ask me out now that I'm a bigger woman and hardly no one did when I looked my best? Could this be male insecurity or something else?
Ooh, Julianne, maybe you're feeling something about yourself that's really like great from where you are, from whatever place you're in. Like, and maybe they're seeing that.
You know, it's interesting. I don't know. When you just said that, it reminds me of my mother. So, folks, for long as I remember, my mother, when I was growing up, she was 5'5" and 300 pounds, or pushing 300 pounds. And yet, and now let's just say I'm in my 20s, so she's in her 50s. And I swear to you, she could walk into the room and think she owned it. Like, she would go to the grocery store and come home with people, you know, that we're feeding that night. Yeah, she had this magnetism about herself. And I don't know if it was kind of in reverse. In other words, she reached a point where she accepted herself. And she didn't give a fuck. Yeah. And maybe, Julianne, and I'm just speculating here, if you're operating from a place of, I accept myself and I could give a fuck, maybe you're putting off some energy that's really highly attractive. I mean, I'd be curious to know what you think of that. Yeah. Again, we often, by the way, isn't there the expression, there's a lid for every pot, you know? So, I mean,
I've never heard it, but that's,
yeah, but the point is, it doesn't matter what your body size is. And certainly, you know, attractive women get hit on a lot. Or I mean, ultra attractive women, but I can imagine that's just as annoying as not getting hit on, kind of thing. Yeah. So anyway, that's just my thought on that. Let's keep going. All right, Gretchen's in the house. Question for Paula. How long had you been dating before you met Jonathan, and did any men even come close to our Jonathan? Okay, how many men?
How many men?
Well, really quickly, when you split up.
So I had a 5-year relationship. I had a 5-year relationship, and then I decided that I was going to take a couple of years off. I hadn't really decided it was going to be a couple of years. I just wanted to take some time off, and it ended up being a couple of years. But I did a lot. Did you actually say to yourself, no. "I'm going to," like you just didn't date? I just didn't date. There's a difference, though, when you say, "I'm going to take time off." No, I did say I was going to take time for myself, and I really wanted to. I really wanted to be in a place that felt sovereign, and spent, you know, it had been 30 some odd years of relationships, almost back to back. So yeah, I hadn't lived by myself, hung out by myself, you know, not being in relationship. And so what happened was I, you know, decided to take time for myself, and that time turned into almost 2 years. So it was a long time. And then I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to be in relationship. I love being in relationship. And I was coming from a place that felt whole. How many men did you date? So I would say, okay, so I got on the, I don't mean the hit and run. I just mean November. I don't know. Really, I mean, I went on several dates. I really had a high amount of discernment
Yeah.
when I got back in. I mean, like to the point where I was just like, nope, that's not going to hit my internal list of, values and criteria that I was looking for. So I did a lot of swiping
Okay, just
left.
give us a number.
I don't have one.
Well, you probably a half a
maybe
dozen.
half a dozen actual dates. No, I'd say maybe a dozen actual dates.
Okay.
A couple of skirmishes, and then
hit and runs.
no skirmishes.
Oh, skirmishes.
Yeah.
Okay. My case, I think when my relationship ended till the time I met you, I know you didn't ask that question, Gretchen, but I'll answer it. I think I had six dates in a 2-year period of time, roughly a 2-year period of time, with a hit and run. Well, with the skirmish in there. So that means a short-lived experience. Okay. So anyway, all right, let's keep going. Angela's in the house. Hey, sweetheart. Did you have any big fights or conflicts while you were getting to know each other? How do you deal with conflicts? Oh, well, we're having them now. No, I'm just kidding. Now that we live together, can I start this one off?
Of course.
So I don't think during the 8 months that we spent before living together, did we have any major disagreements. I mean, and I want to differentiate between a fight, an argument, or a disagreement. I think a fight is two emotional children going at each other. I mean, to be in that state of fighting one another, I believe that's two emotional children going at, or at least one emotional child going at the other. I think arguments usually tend to be birthed from I'm right, you're wrong. Okay. In other words, it's two people going, I'm right.
Somebody
no,
has
I'm right.
Okay.
That's where an argument comes from. And I wanted to make this distinction, Angela, because I don't think we bordered on one argument since we've been together, and we've raised our voice a little bit, and you shut that down pretty quickly by just disengaging until and let me just say this really quickly. Paula disengaged. That allowed my nervous system to calm down because I got riled up over the stupidest of things. I want to be candid with everyone. It was pretty stupid, although I'm still right. No, I'm just kidding. But differences. We have hundreds of differences. What happened today? We had a different. Oh, you were cleaning the microwave with vinegar, and I was like, "That's the grossest thing."
Come on, give me hands up for vinegar and stainless
No. And I'm like, that was gross. And so we have a difference. Okay, so I mean, here's an example where we have a difference.
That's a silly thing, though.
But you know what? No, it's silly. You're right. However, it is what I'm learning in this time that we've just been living together for 3 weeks. And more importantly, just even in our relationship, we have hundreds of differences.
We do. And we've learned
that's
to pick our
by the way.
battles.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Pick your battles. But now you're going back to fight and argument. We address our differences. We actually
quickly and head on.
And again, the through line is come from love. That's our kind of even when we've been kind of like, it's okay to agree to disagree, by the way. I think we've had a few I agree to disagree. But I remember I came into the kitchen and I said, look, sweetheart, I love you.
Yeah.
I think it's always, and not just I love you, but I wanted to connect, look in her eyes and say, this is so trivial compared to, the stance of having our ego satisfied. So we address things quickly with the intent of is if we can have a mutual win-win, that's our goal, a mutual win-win. And we've only had maybe a few things where it's kind of like, well, I disagree with that. I disagree with vinegar, okay?
I think,
but that's just the difference.
So I think the main thing that we have learned in the last few weeks is that we need to be able to say, what I heard of what you just said is blank.
She's so much better at that, folks. She's so great at going, so what did you hear from me?
What did you hear from me?
She's always like, what did you hear from me?
Yeah.
I think you're testing to see if I pay attention.
So oftentimes you are verbatim what you
So
actually.
we actually had something happen yesterday. Quite frankly, she shared something with me. What she said and what I heard was two different things, and it just made me realize. It made me think of gaslighting,
Yeah, perception.
but in the opposite.
How do
Okay,
you-
gaslighting is intentionally distorting the facts.
Okay.
Okay, I did the opposite. I
You received it
unintentionally
that way.
distorted
Yeah.
the facts. Like she was sharing. I wasn't trying to She wasn't trying to manipulate me. What I heard was so different, and what I realized, coming back to differences, folks, this is so critical. I want you to come back and watch this again. Okay, we humans don't realize how each person can contextualize events differently. Let me repeat that. We contextualize events, circumstances, experiences differently. And quite frankly, our memory is not a valid tool to assess the facts. We humans have a propensity to, what it was said in Nine Perfect Strangers, we deconstruct memory in such a way, and
before we reconstruct it,
and we could be totally off base. We've had a few moments.
What's my theory?
Perspective's
Everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, perspective.
Everything.
Yes,
It's how we see
not like
them.
that's a grand theory.
Well, no, but it's it's my theory.
Okay.
Perspective's everything. It's like
Okay.
how you see it, how I see it, maybe completely.
And we spend more time probably trying to understand each other's perspective. And believe me, I'm going to say we fail at this a lot too. And
As
I don't
human
want to
beings.
exaggerate that.
No,
But
as
you
human
have
beings.
sometimes selective memory.
Right, but just in general, as human beings,
I just want to make sure everyone knows I'm not always the one wrong. Okay, let's take our next question. Cookies in the house. Question: I'm 30 years old. Everyone around me is getting married, having kids, getting houses. I'm single. My parents are pressuring me every day to settle down. I don't want to rush into it. Need help. Well, I was just watching Esther Perel, and it's Esther Perel, however she pronounces her first name, who wrote the book Mating in Captivity. She said basically the quality of our life is predicated on the quality of our relationships. And here's the thing: if you are feeling pressure to make a decision, from what I've observed, that's the worst vantage point to be making a choice. In other words, if you're feeling pressure. And so one is, what's most important is that you connect. If you're going to pursue a relationship with someone, make sure you build a foundation of trust, that you share the same values, you share the same vision of a relationship, that your lifestyles are blendable, that you assessed each other's emotional maturity. And I know I just said a mouthful, but if that took you 5 more years, that's okay too. Thankfully, you're 30. I have women who come to me in their late 30s feeling a lot more pressure. What's most important, I would also say, is to build a sense of your sovereignty and your self-love. Because again, if you're operating from a place of the woman we were talking about that, accepts themselves, when you come from that sovereign place, you become much more attractive to everyone around you. So that's do you have anything to add?
No, I think you're spot on.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's see. Paula, John, I really like you.